Welcome, friends. Today, we are doing another fragrance rotation video for the week ending the 12th of March, 2023. Fantastic. So, friends, this past week has been cold. And my friends have been laughing at me because I changed my rotation on the 1st of March, and we've had snow this week. You know, it's been cold. It has been cold. Yikes. But not to worry. I ploughed ahead anyway. I have chosen my fragrance tactically. And these fragrances have worked. They have worked. So let's get started, shall we? And on Monday, I wore a niche fragrance. And this niche fragrance is from the House of Ostens. And this is Impression Cedar Wood Heart. And that is very much what it smells like. Cedar wood. This is green. It is woody. It has this outrageous violet leaf accord in it. It's a little bit spicy. It's rounded out very nice with some patchouli and some orris. But it's definitely got either the same or something very close to the cedar note that is in Royal Oud by Creed. It is very similar in that respect. It has this kind of musty greenness from the galbanum, which is very nice. I must admit, I like it. And it's good for this time of year when things are just starting to sprout. You know, when things are just starting to spring. The galbanum's got this almost earthy quality to it. It's very nice. The violet leaf is reminiscent of Fahrenheit. And I would recommend the sample set. I enjoyed the sample set, I must admit. They're all very nice, but I don't know if I would be like leaping out of my chair to go and buy them, you know? Not that I leap out of my chair anymore, but you know what I mean. It's a good quality fragrance and I enjoy it. I don't think I'll be replacing it though when I'm finished. Anyway, another fragrance that I hope I will wear a lot this spring and summer. In fact, I think you can wear this fragrance whenever. It's got a bit of everything. This is an absolute classic. And this is I think this is the 4th generation bottle. I'm not sure, but this is Paco Rabanne Pour Homme. This again, for me, it's got a woody aspect to it, you know? It's fresh, it's clean, it's a little bit spicy. It's got this amazing lavender note in it, which is very, very, at the same time, fresh and warming. You know, it's very round. It's got this little honey aspect to it with the oak moss. There's like sage and rosemary at the top. It's an amazing fragrance. It's a reference fragrance, really. A reference aromatic fougere. It's been out for now, well, it's 50 years this year. This year is this fragrance's 50th birthday and it's still on the shelves. I absolutely love it. You cannot go wrong. So that is Paco Rabanne Pour Homme. Next, we have another classic. Oh. And this is Dior Homme. Iris. Iris, a little bit of cacao, warmth, comforting, fresh, clean, but still got that warmth to it. Absolutely fantastic. I love this stuff. I've got bottles and bottles of this. I've got the black stem. I've got the silver stem. What I don't have is the 2020, thank God, because it's awful. Completely. Why they should have just, if they wanted to release that fragrance, they should have just put it in a different bottle and called it something else. But they tried to cash in on. They tried to cash in on the name, you know, and people's familiarity with it. That's what it felt like. It felt like they tried to sneak that fragrance in. But this provided me with some warmth during the week as it started to get colder. The next two fragrances after this, especially the next two, will show you just how cold it got. I didn't go back to the autumn and winter rotation, but nearly. And the next fragrance I have for you is an Acqua di Parma, would you believe? And for the eagle-eyed, you will have spotted that this is not at the front of the presentation as it usually is. This is Colonia Mira, one of the many flankers to Colonia. Colonia is, excuse me whilst I hydrate, Colonia is a typically Italian citrus cologne. This is not. This has citrus at the top, but this has got a massive dose of myrrh in it. I don't know if it's a synthetic myrrh or a real myrrh, but it gives this kind of ambery warmth to it. It's still fresh, because myrrh's got a fresh aspect to it too. But this has that absolutely amazing. It's almost gourmand. It's almost gourmand. It's like an ambery, myrrhy, resinous kind of... It's like a summer amber, you know? It's absolutely gorgeous. It's got this nutmeg note, which gives it this kind of old school feel. I always feel nutmeg's an old school note. It's in so many vintage perfumes that I always associate it with that. It gives this kind of gravity to a fragrance. It's absolutely beautiful. This is the former presentation, which is the brown bottles. They do them in black bottles now. I imagine they've been reformulated, but I haven't really smelled them. This one's been discontinued, which is a tragedy. Excuse me, whilst I just throw my possessions around the house. But yes, I recommend smelling this if you can. I imagine prices of this will start to rise because it has been discontinued. So if you're interested, get a look. Next, we have another spring and summer amber fragrance. This time it is from L'Artisan Parfumier, and this is L'Eau d'Ambre. This is... excuse me. This is a quintessential amber. It's got a big labdanum in it. It's got a big sort of powdery aspect to it as well, from like this vanilla and geranium. It's got overtones of, oops, excuse me, or undertones. Overtones or undertones? It's got tones of Ambra Sultan, which is one of my favourite fragrances. This is in the previous presentation, which I'm glad of, because all my other L'Artisans are in the previous presentation. I've got Timbuktu, I've got Zonka, which I'm selling because it's awful. L'Eau d'Ambre, and then I've got the L'Eau d'Ambre Extreme, which Jean-Claude Elena made, and it's much thicker than this. You know, it's much thicker than this. I think you can definitely wear this on cool summer days and all through the autumn. You could probably get away with this in all seasons, to be honest with you. It is fantastic. And I recommend that you try and get a smell of this. I haven't smelled the new one in the new presentation, but I can speak very highly of this. It is a very nice wear. Next, yesterday. Yesterday, this was my scent of the day, obviously, God. And I reviewed this fragrance, and this is Prada Amber Pour Homme. If you want to hear me go in depth about this fragrance, my review is up, and people are responding well to it. There seems to be a lot of love for this fragrance, and I'm not surprised. This is an amber fougere type thing. It's got this really thick quality to it without being cloying. Excuse me whilst I hydrate. It's balanced very well. It's blended beautifully. All the notes, you can tell that they're all there in and of themselves, but you can also smell the whole composition. It's an absolutely stunning fragrance. Again, labdanum. I'm not a massive fan of labdanum when it's like the main player, but when it's used well, you know. In something like Le Leon, it's overdosed and I don't like it. I don't like that about it. In this, it's used as like a framework for the rest of the perfume. And I really like that about it. This is fresh, clean, soapy and ambery, warming at the same time. Difficult to wear in the summer, but in all other seasons, you could definitely wear this, a top quality signature scent. Also, recently discontinued, and watch out buying new Prada fragrances because they're made by L'Oreal, where perfume goes to die. Absolutely atrocious. Don't buy perfumes when they're made by L'Oreal, they're awful. They killed Amen. Anyway, today's scent of the day is a classic. A Fragcom darling again, much like Paco Rabanne Pour Homme, much like Dior Homme, much like Prada Amber Pour Homme. This is Serge Lutens' 5 o'clock au gingembre. Made by Christopher Sheldrake, obviously. This is one of their more popular and recognisable perfumes. This is stunning. It's a tea fragrance, obviously. It's got honey, it's got cinnamon, it's got wood, cacao. It's just got a bit of everything. It feels like... I don't get the biscuity aspect. Everybody says this has got like a biscuit sort of aspect for it. For me, it doesn't. You know? This is meant to be Serge Lutens' experience of drinking tea in London at 5 o'clock with a ginger biscuit. I get the ginger, although it's used very delicately. It gives it that little bit of life, a little bit of fizz. But it's got this amazing tea cinnamon thing going on, which is just beautiful. I don't know what the modern version's like. I only get the Serge Lutens in this packaging, although I do have a couple of the Graziels. A few of them have really stood up well. I have smelled Santal Majuscule, which still smells nice, if not as defined. I've smelled Amber Sultan, which still smells nice, if not as like defined and refined. I think there's a couple that have suffered. Weirdly enough, Vetiver Oriental smells completely different to me, but the new one is much more wearable than the old one. The old one's a tough wear. It's something I've taken a long time to wrap my head around. Hello. Anyway, that's my cue to leave. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. I hope you have enjoyed this. And I will see you all again soon.